In Activity 2, you're going to be learning about some new tools for PCDraft. Under the Window menu, you can see there's the Tool menu, the Tool window, the Attribute window, and those two are already checked. That's because those two are already open. You can click on other ones and it will open each one at a time, or you can click on the Show Hide All Palettes and it'll open all of them. The one we're going to be working with mainly today is this one right here. That is the alignment window. The alignment window does exactly that. It aligns and spaces out objects. The computer's a powerful tool that'll do a lot of work for you. You don't have to do the work for the computer. I'm going to draw some odd-shaped boxes on the screen. And we have 5 of these boxes right here next to each other. Using this tool, the alignment tool, we can align these boxes up. This top part of the alignment tool aligns things left to right or horizontally. The bottom half lines things up vertically or up and down. So if I want to line up these objects, and these are all individual objects, so I have to select all of them, I can click on one and then hold the Shift key down and click on another one, another one, another one, and another one. Or I can click on one and just draw a box all around all of them. Now I have all of them selected. This tool right here is going to align them left to right and make sure the bottoms are all lined up. You can see there's a line along the bottom. The objects are next to each other right here, and these are next to each other. So if I click on this one, nothing happens. But when I move my cursor off of it, it says click a reference object. It wants to know the bottom of the object that you want all of them lined up. So if I want them all lined up with this one, I would click on this one, and now all the bottoms are lined up with that one. The same thing for this tool. The tops will all be lined up with this one when I click on it, and now the tops are all lined up. And obviously you could tell this one here will line up all the centers. So now all the centers are lined up. These, I can do the same thing with these going up and down. So I can line up all the left sides of these ones. Uh-oh, what happened? I'm going to edit, undo, and the computer couldn't read my mind. It didn't know that I wanted to line these ones up because I had these ones selected. You have to tell it which ones you want to line up. So I want to line up these ones and then click on the ones I want it to line up with. So now all the left edges are lined up, or all the right edges are lined up, or all the centers are lined up. So if I use this tool along the top, it's going to line up all the bottom edges with whichever one I click. And now all of these objects, all the bottom edges lined up. Obviously we wanted them still in a row, so you can always go to Edit, Undo. That's using these first 6 boxes. All that does is align edges. So if I were to have a lot of the same objects, for example, if I had a lot of boxes that look just like this, and I copied, edit, copy, edit, paste, now I have 2 of them, or I can go to the edit, duplicate, and it just duplicates a whole bunch of them for me. Now I have a whole bunch of objects. The first thing students tend to do is grab them and put them out by hand and try to line them up by hand. So they spend a lot of time trying to line things up. Once again, the computer can do most of the work for you. So if I grab all of these objects and say line up the bottom edges, now the bottom edges are all lined up. But they're not spaced out evenly. They look like they're pretty even, but they're not exactly even. That's where these 4 boxes come into play. So if I grab this row right here and I click on this one because I want to spread them out horizontally, not vertically up and down, but horizontally, I can use this box right here and that spread them out. Let me show you that one more time. Undo, and when I click on it, you'll see them all move. Now, if I wanted to spread them out further, for example, I thought these spaces weren't far enough apart, I can drag this one over and then just tell the computer to re-spread them out. And it spreads them out for me. So now I have these perfect 5 objects spread out the way I want them. But I want to add more rows. So I can just take these objects and using the group tool, I've grouped them together. Let me undo that and show you. Right now, this is an individual object. They're all individual pieces. But if I spread them out perfectly using this tool, then group them together, now they're no longer 5 individual objects. Now they're one long object. One of the ways you can tell if you have one object or 5 individual objects is using the rotation tool. If I come up here and rotate, you're going to see the whole object rotates. But if I ungroup them and I rotate it, they all rotate individually. Sometimes you might want them to rotate individually. Sometimes you might want them to rotate one at a time, or as a one entire object. So I'm going to go back and undo that rotate. I'm going to group them back together. Oh, edit, undo. When you make a mistake, grab my arrow again. Now I want 4 more of these rows. So I can go back to the edit, duplicate, and now I've got a perfect row. I didn't have to do all that work another time. It was already done for me. Duplicate and duplicate. Now I want to spread out these rows evenly. So if I grab all of the rows, you can see this is an object, this is an object, this is an object, this is an object. This is 4 individual objects. And they're on top of each other. They're vertical. So I can line up this edge with this edge with this edge using this tool and clicking on it. And then I can spread out the spaces evenly with this tool. Maybe I want these a little bit closer to each other, and I can come back and spread them out one more time. And now they're evenly spread out. It's hard to spread the rows out if you leave them ungrouped. Let me show you the example. If I have this square right here, and I'm going to duplicate it and spread them out left to right. So now I've got a perfectly straight row, but I haven't grouped them together yet. I'm going to copy and paste that row. So now I've got 4 rows. When I grab all 4 of those rows, if I say spread them out, because I want to spread this row out evenly with this row, so I want them spread out vertically, and I use the vertical tool, it spreads out every single object. You can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 objects, and this spreads out the 20 objects evenly. It doesn't spread out the rows evenly because the computer doesn't see these as rows, it sees them as 5 individual objects. That's where you have to make sure you've got your row perfect, then group it together before you copy and paste it. So I would throw these away, copy, paste each of those rows. Now the computer recognizes these are individual rows, and we can spread them out. You could continue doing this of grouping, spreading things out, grouping. So I could group this whole box right now, and if I want to rotate the whole box, it rotates everything, and they're still perfectly aligned. Once again, this whole assignment is going to be about aligning. So let's go back here to our classroom. I have the classroom opened up right here, and I also need to open up the furniture. And here's the furniture for the classroom. It's already pre-drawn for you. So we can click on these different objects, edit, copy, then you have to click where you want it, edit, paste, and we can paste it where we need it. And just continue grabbing what you want, copying it, then coming over to here and pasting it. You can see that copy is this little command key, this little funny squiggly line, and the C key. So it's a fast way to copy, and pasting is command V. So I can just do it quickly using the keyboard. So here is one row of chairs. And remember, there's a certain amount of students that have to fit into your class. The book will tell you the requirements for the class. So now I can grab all of these chairs, and I want them to be all spread out evenly on a line. So I'm going to use this tool. And now they're all spread out evenly, or they're all aligned on their left edge. This tool will spread them out evenly. Now we have a perfect row, the way we want it. I'm going to group this now. So all I have to do is copy and paste this row where I want it. Perhaps before I copy and paste it, I want to change exactly how the angle of it. So I'm going to change the angle of it. I want to add a little bit of an angle. And if you can see down here, it tells me the angle that it's at. Right now it's at a 0 angle, so I can rotate it 180 degrees. Maybe I want it looking a little bit towards the corner of the room. You don't have to do this. Now I'm going to grab those chairs, and I'm going to copy and paste that row. And I'm going to do that a couple times. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of desks. Remember that you need to have a certain amount of desks for the classroom. Now we can grab all those rows and spread them out left to right. That's left to right, the top row. And you can see they're all spread out evenly now. One thing to think about with a classroom is that your rows have to have plenty of room for the students to walk around. You can't walk between two desks if they're right next to each other. And remember, a student probably has a backpack on as well. So this doesn't really work out for the situation I want. I'm going to delete these rows again. Go back to this guy, and I want to rotate him back to 0, the way it was when I started. Now I'm going to copy and paste. And I really don't have to put them in certain order because the computer does all that for me. I'm going to grab all of them, holding the Shift key down, and say spread them out left to right. Spread them out left to right. And there we have a perfect row. There's still a little bit tight in between the rows. So I'm going to move this one forward and spread them out again. My room's still missing a couple of things. It's missing the teacher desk. Here's the teacher desk, so I could copy that, paste it, put it where I want it. It needs a door. Now, a door, when you copy the door and paste it into the room, you have to put it so that the door is open. A door can open 4 ways. It can open inside the room, left to right, or right to left. It can open outside the room, right to left or left to right. Right here is the hinge, so it shows you which way the door is opening. I'm going to put this door right here in the corner. I might have a problem with that door hitting the back of that student's desk. Let's grab another door, copy, and then paste. But this door, I want to rotate it around. So I can use this tool, and it rotates it 90 degrees at a time. I'm going to place this door right here by the teacher's desk. And I'll move the teacher's desk over. I'll move the whiteboard over a little bit. The problem with this door is when you walk into this door, it's going to bring you right into the wall. I want this hinge to be on the other side. So I can arrange that by flipping it. Instead of rotating it, because if I rotate it, oh, wrong thing. If I rotate it, it just rotates around in a circle. But I can go to arrange and flip it horizontally, and now it made it left to right. So now when you walk in this door, it walks you into the class. The last thing on this classroom is I have locked the floor. This is the room. You can see the walls of the room here, and I've locked it. They have little gray dots. When I click on this one, it's got black dots, but when I click on the floor here, it's got gray dots. I can't move it. It helps me when I'm rearranging the desks so I don't accidentally move it. If you go to Arrange, you can unlock the floor. By unlocking the floor, it allows me to move it anywhere I want, which is what I don't want to do. Or I can come over here and change the color of the floor, or change the pattern of the floor. Remember, we're just printing this in black and white, so it really doesn't matter what color you make it. Make sure you fill out everything completely, and then double check in the book to make sure that you've met all the requirements for the classroom before asking the teacher or the aide if you can print it. Good luck with your project.